It is time for the Royals Report, and this week we got a look at the annual Sovereign Grant Report from the royal family. The report shows just how much money is used each year to support the Queen, as well as to maintain the royal palaces.
Someone who walked away from their royal duties, someone who promised to live a life free of the royal spotlight, still enjoys the same luxuries funded by you. Sounds shocking, doesn't it? But that's exactly what's happening right now with Meghan and Harry. They said goodbye to royal responsibilities. But did they really leave behind the perks? Despite claiming independence and distancing themselves from royal life, they are still living the life of luxury on the taxpayer's dime. That's right, after all the headlines, interviews, and promises to step away. It turns out that they are still benefiting from the very system they said they rejected. The perks of royalty, the lavish lifestyle, the protection, and everything that comes with it funded by the public. You won't believe what comes next. So what's really hidden behind those palace walls? What is the shocking truth that the tabloids missed and that the public has never been told? This isn't just about two individuals looking for privacy. This is a story that reveals the ongoing manipulation of a system meant to serve the people. And what if I told you that this ongoing financial support to Meghan and Harry has lasted far longer than anyone ever imagined? A recent bombshell report has just dropped, revealing a staggering 41% increase in royal spending. And what's even more shocking? Meghan and Harry might have continued accessing taxpayer-funded perks long after stepping away from their royal duties. Can you believe it? Couple who pledged to live privately, free from the royal spotlight, still seem to be reaping the benefits perks that most of us can only dream of. Paid for by you. This is the moment to keep the viewer hooked. Make them feel the emotional weight of this revelation. This isn't just a scandal about a couple stepping down from their royal duties. It's about the very trust that was broken with the public. The moment you reveal this unexpected twist, you need to make them ask, how could this happen? That's the kind of emotional engagement that compels viewers to stick around. When Meghan and Harry announced their decision to step down from royal duties, it was met with a sense of relief by some and skepticism by others. After all, they were leaving behind a life of public scrutiny, relentless media attention, and royal responsibilities. They wanted privacy, independence, and most of all, freedom. But did they really walk away? Or was it all a well-calculated strategy to get the perks of royalty without the obligations, despite their public promises to live independently and financially without royal funding? A report has just surfaced that reveals Meghan and Harry may have quietly continued to benefit from the very system they pledged to reject. This isn't just about perks and privileges, it's about how the royal family's financial system works and how easily it can be manipulated.
Given to the Queen by the British taxpayers is spent. And this year we found there'd been a 41% increase in spending.
We'll see King Charles do this because I don't think that he likes the fact that he's been accused of racism towards his grandchildren.
Wanting to exploit their royal titles, I think it stinks. And I think what King Charles should do, he should just strip them of the titles.
But as you say, the main headlines really were grabbed by this £2.4 million spending on Frogmore Cottage.
The numbers are out and the truth is clear. The public, who has been paying for the royals' lavish lifestyle for centuries, is still footing the bill for Meghan and Harry's lavish living. This isn't just an uncomfortable truth, a betrayal of public trust. When they stepped away, the public was told they would no longer be responsible for funding their lifestyle. But it turns out that was only half the story. What does this mean for the royal family's image? How does this revelation affect the public's trust in a family that has long been seen as the epitome of duty and sacrifice? Could this scandal expose the cracks in the very system of royalty? And, more importantly, how long has this been happening without the public ever knowing? Now that we know the shocking truth, we have to ask, how deep does this go? Were Meghan and Harry the only ones benefiting from taxpayer-funded perks? Was this all part of a much bigger plan? the truth is only just beginning to unfold. And it's not just about one couple's privileges, it's about the system that allows this to happen in the first place. But how did this bombshell leak happen? What exactly did the report reveal? And why is it sending shockwaves through the palace? Stay with me as we uncover the scandal behind Meghan and Harry's continuing access to royal perks and the consequences that no one saw coming. In a shocking and unexpected turn of events, a leaked report has just been made public, and it has revealed something no one could have predicted. Royal spending has increased by a staggering 41%. And what's even more shocking? Meghan and Harry may have secretly continued to tap into the very taxpayer-funded perks they vowed to leave behind. Yes, you heard that correctly, while they promised to cut ties with royal financial support. They've been benefiting from it all along. This bombshell is nothing short of explosive. The royal family's finances, already under close scrutiny, are now under the microscope like never before. The very individuals who turn their backs on royal duties, publicly stepping away from the throne's financial backing, quietly been living a life of luxury, paid for by you, the taxpayer. The truth is finally out, and it's sending shockwaves through the palace and beyond. This revelation is shaking the very foundation of the monarchy's trust with the public. Once the news broke, the public's reaction was swift and unforgiving. The outrage was palpable, and it didn't take long for social media to explode with fury. People began asking the question everyone had been thinking. How could a couple who turned their backs on royal responsibilities still be benefiting from public funds? And it didn't stop there. Memes, viral videos, and public posts flooded every platform, with people voicing their disbelief. The trust the public had in Meghan and Harry began to unravel in real time as the details of the leak spread. Public outrage only intensified. The royal family's credibility was suddenly on the line. How could they let this happen? How could they, who have long been associated with sacrifice and duty, allow two of their own to profit from public money despite leaving their roles? What had been a carefully crafted narrative of independence and privacy for Meghan and Harry was now coming undone. They were supposed to be cutting ties, building their own fortune outside the royal spotlight. Instead, they were still benefiting from the very perks they said they no longer wanted.
This time around, the sovereign grant showed that the money that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle used seems pretty significant. So for more on this, we're joined by BBC Royals correspondent Sarah Campbell from London.
Oh my gosh, I worked so hard.
People wondering whether £2.4 million is a lot of money to spend on one dwelling. We should say that the palace were keen to point out that the expensive fixtures and fittings, sort of personal touches, would have been paid for by Harry and Meghan.
Before we even get to the main event,
when the stakes are this high, doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us?
oh, shut up. What do you mean the stakes are this high? Who do you think you are? Other than a latte-munching imbecile.
Yeah, Anne-Marie, you're right. This is to do with the Royal Foundation. This is like an umbrella organisation where last February, we saw the first annual meeting. It was dubbed the Fab Four because for the first time we had Harry and Meghan on stage, Kate and William on stage.
It's about an hour-long cab ride, never seen as grandchildren. This show is packed with the kind of spurious claims and hypocrisy that have become the Sussex signature. We learned they began making videos about their heroic journey 6 months before their Netflix deal was even announced, and right at the start of a pandemic that was killing.
There's a real delight in being able to be a present parent, and it's a luxury sometimes because we all have to work, we all have a lot of stuff to do, but when you can take a minute to just...
Saturday morning.
This was no longer just a celebrity scandal. It was a full-blown royal disaster. And as the news reached every corner of the globe, people were left in shock. The very idea that the royal family, who have always been seen as symbols of duty and responsibility, could be so easily manipulated for personal gain sent shockwaves through the public. This wasn't just about royal duties or public service anymore. It was about how the entire system worked and whether it could truly be trusted. The leak exposed the cracks that had been hiding in plain sight. It wasn't just the public who was blindsided, many inside the palace were too. The royal family had tried so hard to maintain a certain image, and this financial scandal threatened to destroy it all. The once unquestionable loyalty of the British people to their monarchs was now under a harsh light. How many other royal perks were being used without the public's knowledge? As this scandal spread, it wasn't just Meghan and Harry who found themselves in the crosshairs. The entire royal family was now under scrutiny. People began to ask, how could the palace have allowed this? What did it say about the family's role in all of this? How could they have let their own members benefit from the very system they had promised to leave behind? The monarchy, once seen as an institution above reproach, was now facing a crisis of trust. The scandal had already damaged the royal family's reputation, but it wasn't over. The truth was beginning to unravel, and the public, more informed than ever, was demanding answers. The palace's silence was deafening. It was as if they were hoping this would all blow over. But people weren't letting it go. The fallout from this leak didn't just stay within the realm of social media or news outlets. Inside the royal family, whispers began to circulate. Was this the final straw? Could this be the moment when the monarchy's carefully curated image started to crack? What would happen to Meghan and Harry's standing within the royal family? Could they survive this scandal? There were also other questions beginning to surface. Was Meghan and Harry's so-called stepping away from royal life all part of a bigger strategy to take advantage of the very system they were publicly distancing themselves from? Had this all been a calculated move to create a brand, to build a life of luxury while still enjoying royal privileges, all paid for by taxpayers? And just like that, a secret that had been hidden behind the palace walls was now out in the open. The royal family's finances were under scrutiny, and the public was demanding more. What was going to happen next? What would the monarchy do to stop this scandal from spiraling out of control? As the public outrage reached a fever pitch, everyone wanted answers. How could Meghan and Harry explain away this bombshell? Could they save their brand? Could they rebuild the trust they had lost with the public? These were the questions that everyone was asking. But there was more to come. This was just the beginning of the scandal. There were still pieces of the puzzle that hadn't been revealed. And as the story continued to unfold, it became clear that this royal drama was far from over. Stay tuned, because the truth is just beginning to surface and the real consequences are still yet to be felt. The moment the news broke, everything changed. Meghan and Harry were blindsided by the magnitude of the scandal. There was no calm, no collected response. It was chaos behind the scenes. Meghan, who had carefully crafted her brand for years, could feel it all slipping away in an instant. The empire she had worked so hard to build was crumbling, piece by piece, as the scandal unfolded in the public eye. Her phone, once a lifeline to fans and supporters, became a tool of frantic desperation.
She spreads her legs, she hikes her dress, she circles her genital.
She talks like she's a one-woman band. That is not hard work. Hard work is get up in the morning, get to 7 o'clock, get into a factory or a shop and working for 10 hours on your feet, coming home knackered. That's not what happens to her.
And still being a mom.
That is
still
not
being
what
a mom.
This series, and they'll believe it. They'll believe the smears about Britain and our monarchy, that we're a bunch of bigoted and hateful people. They even blamed Brexit for the racism which apparently was aimed at Meghan Markle, which is just completely absurd. But by far the most sickening part of this show for me was the constant use of Harry's...
This woman is a born manipulator. The Netflix thing, she doesn't do the work. She don't make the jams. It's all made for her.
What matters is what we have on the inside.
favourite little niece, Ashley. Meghan also sees she got no advice on royal protocol. forcing her to learn how to be a princess all on her own.
Joining this family, I knew that there was a protocol for how things were done. There's no class and some person who goes sit like this.
Press show her wearing pretty much every colour in the rainbow. The show opens with the claim that the royal family declined to comment on the series. That's another lie. Palace says it received one email from an unknown company and attempts to verify it.
Hey, lowly cameraman, come over here and try some fried chicken. Try the fried chicken. Try the fried chicken. We need to make it look like I actually care about my camera crew. Come get some fried chicken. Act like you're having fun. Act like you're having fun.
Right decision. Was it fighting back and risking her reputation further? Or was it stepping back and accepting the consequences of her actions? In the final moments before the next chapter, Meghan faced a dilemma. Would she stand up, face the media, and fight with everything she had? Or would she let the storm rage and retreat into silence? As the world awaited her decision, one thing was clear. This story was far from over. And the world couldn't wait to see what would happen next. What do you think? Should Meghan fight back and continue to battle the scandal? Or is it time for her to walk away and face the consequences of her choices? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more breaking updates as we follow this ongoing saga. Stay tuned to uncover the shocking twists and turns as we dive deeper into the royal family's latest drama. The truth is out there and we'll bring it to you. This journey has only just begun. The consequences of Meghan's decisions will ripple through her life and the royal family for years to come. Don't miss what happens next. Subscribe and keep up with the latest revelations in the royal scandal.